So I guess we'll start just by giving some context about why we are here. International Women's Day is coming up, and as women in tech, and we're both kind of.
You more than me.
Well,
in tech.
in tech. Well, actually, this is all technology. There's a lot of technology and engineering in here. We got together to open up a discussion around what it is like for women in the workplace, and how we can, just with some mindfulness and a bit of awareness, create more female-friendly workplaces. So obviously, being in technology, I've been in a very male-dominated environment for all my entire career. And it's only been a recent revelation since I met Zareen that even I have thought about making my own business a more female-friendly workplace. And what do I mean by female-friendly? So growing up, we've all had, and I'm sure lots of women watching this video will have a very, this will be familiar to everyone, where every month we menstruate. Actually, I don't menstruate anymore because I'm on the other side of my menopause.
Me too.
But, so we've had a whole lifetime of managing the fact that we menstruate in as dignified a way as possible. But actually, it's occurred to me that the dignity has actually tipped into somehow being stigmatized, or being something that women hide or are sometimes ashamed of in the workplace. And that even as a female founder, I had, over 20 years of running my business, over the first 20 years, I did not stock sanitary products for women in my own office. So it just never occurred to me. Yet every month I was one of the people that was hiding sanitary products in my handbag and carrying them to the toilets in my sleeve, and panicking about when my period was going to arrive and whether I had them or didn't have them. So meeting Zareen, it's made me so much more aware of what we can and should, in my view, be doing to ensure that our workplaces are much more female friendly. And as a result, we've subscribed to Gift Wellness as a business to provide sanitary products for the female team members that we have. So it's International Women's Day, and we would love to just open up a conversation and have some awareness for the thousands of entrepreneurs that we have in the UK and overseas, everybody watching this video, about how easy it is for you to stand out as employers and create an environment where the women feel really at ease when it comes to the time of their months to menstruate, that they're not going to have a panic about whether or not they have sanitary products, and that you can discreetly or indiscreetly, you can celebrate it if you want to, or discreetly provide sanitary products in your washrooms for your female members of staff, for your menstruating staff. So my name is Jeannie McGillivray. I run a business called Remote. We're a software development agency, a digital product studio we call ourselves these days, and we create innovative applications for businesses who are looking to scale normally, or who have an idea for some game-changing or industry-changing piece of technology. And I met Zareen, we were both on an accelerator program, and I became introduced to Zareen. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Zareen Roohi Ahmed. I'm founder and CEO of Gift Wellness, which is a social enterprise, and we have the Gift Wellness Foundation, which works alongside it. Basically, we manufacture and sell a range of natural toiletries, from natural menstrual products to soap bars, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, face wash, hand wash and so on. And they're all plastic free. They're all made with natural ingredients, and most importantly, for every pack of our pads that we sell, we donate pads to women in crisis, and we've now expanded that work through the Gift Wellness Foundation, and that's why we set up the foundation separately, as well as doing it through the business. For every pack we sell, we're donating pads. The foundation allows us to expand that work and really focus on it, and take it into different directions and create more of an ecosystem around what is needed, what needs to happen to create the kind of world that women want to live in.
Exactly.
And so far we've donated about 6.5 million products. And that sounds like a lot, but it barely scratches the surface. And we're now, so as you say, we're looking into not just the donations, which is putting a sticking plaster on the problem, really. Giving it helps, you know, for a short time, to the women that and people that need them, who can't access or afford products for whatever reason, whether it's women in refugee camps or homeless people, or people who have to use food banks, or they're in a shelter because of domestic violence or whatever the reason is. You know, it's great to give, and you know, I mean, if it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't be able to do that, and you know, they know that for every time they buy from us, or they're subscribing every month, that they're also helping someone. But beyond that, like you say, there are other pieces of this puzzle that we need to solve in order to, there are root causes that we need to address.
Absolutely.
And they cover things like, you know, girls in schools, and women in the workplace. You know, when girls graduate from school and they go into further education and then they go into work, you know, what kind of environment are we setting up for them to excel and to really be who they, you know, they have the opportunities that they deserve, this and create a level playing field for them. What needs to happen?
Well, the first thing that we can do, so even for successful businesses, I've never been into a business and found menstrual products in the toilets. So now, if you go into some pubs or restaurants, you will find that they do are providing menstrual products in the toilets for their customers. But I've never been into an office situation and found that that's a provision. We're finding now, especially in the UK, and I'm sure this is a similar situation throughout the world, that even our nurses are using food banks. So we think of period poverty being something that affects the homeless or affects people from other nations. But actually, the cost of living, especially in the UK right now, has escalated, where people are worried about putting the heating on. They are concerned about the inflated cost of basic shopping.
The fact that there are more food banks than there are McDonald's restaurants in this country is outrageous. You know,
and as businesses and entrepreneurs, we can do something about this. And it's very simple. It's very affordable. But to provide sanitary wear for our team members through Gift Wellness, if we do that through Gift Wellness, we can do that very easily from Zareen's website, which is giftwellness.com.
Giftwellness.co.uk.
So giftwellness.co.uk. You can set up a subscription, and have just sent in a very discreet way to your office building every month the sanitary wear for your female members of your teams.
Yes. Along with a dispenser if you want one as well.
Yeah.
So a dispenser which contains pads on one side and tampons on the other side.
Yeah.
It's a free dispenser, so they take what they need.
Awesome.
And it's really simple, compact thing that can go on
Yeah.
the wall, and it's
Yeah.
very affordable.
Yeah. And tell us about your particular, what's special about these particular pads over, say, what the other brands that you might find in the supermarket?
So apart from the fact that for every pack we sell,
Right.
you're helping, people in crisis, the real kind of magic ingredient in our pads is it's something called tourmaline, which is a mineral stone, which is often worn as a jewellery. This is black tourmaline actually. Black tourmaline is good for stamina and strength, and you often see it in like sports wristbands and that sort of thing. They use it for arthritis and that sort of thing. Green tourmaline is naturally antibacterial. It's used in air filtration units and some hospital equipment. It's also now in hair products, some hair products, straighteners and things like that. And you can get ionizing sort of air filtration units, and people can put them, they have mattresses that you can put under your bed sheet. It helps circulation. It's naturally antibacterial. So what tourmaline is, it's an electrically charged stone from millions of years of absorbing the sun. It has obviously a very minute. You don't feel the electrical charge, but it emits these ions called negative ions. Negative ions. And the negative ions kind of zap the positive ions in the air, which are kind of bacteria and the toxins in the air. And it's activated when it comes into contact with heat. So in the case of our pads, when it comes into contact with your body, it activates the negative ions, and it basically gets rid of smells and infections and lots of things that cause problems down there, and
improves the health,
and basically it sort of regulates your hormones and your cycle, so you become more regular. And you just, the main review that we get on our website and when I'm talking to customers is, I just feel better. That's what they say. I just feel, I don't know, I just feel better, and I've got more energy, and I'm not so groggy and lethargic and just feeling rubbish, and also that you're not. I remember I used to get quite kind of sore because of the plastics in those products and the friction caused by them, and by the third day I was in pain, from feeling sore, whereas with these they are, they don't have that friction because they're natural. They don't have plastic in them. In fact, the bottom layer and the wrapper that covers the pads, they also are made of cornstarch, so it's a plastic alternative, which makes them biodegradable, and they're extremely absorbent. These are just the panty liners, but we have the normal pads, the long pads, and you can order tampons as well. And they're all in paper packaging. This is, paper packaging as well. So the product is great. But what it will do for your organisation in terms of you know, diversity, respect and inclusion.
Exactly.
You know, it's about respecting your workers,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's
absolutely.
about giving them the right kind. It's about synchronizing around their bodies.
Yeah. And creating an environment that
Yeah,
works.
because traditionally, all organisations, whether they're schools or banks or the army or whatever organisation, workplaces have traditionally been built and systemised around how men's bodies work.
Exactly.
And because women didn't work
Yeah.
back then and
Yeah.
go to university back then,
Yeah.
so it stayed like that, fitting around how men's bodies function.
Yeah.
But now it's time to synchronise around how women's bodies work as
Yeah.
well, and it can work together.
Absolutely.
You know, and there needs to be more flexibility. There needs to be openness and a normalisation of conversations around women's health,
Yeah.
around, you know, menstruation, pregnancy, menopause, and everything in between.
Yeah.
You know, endometriosis and the other symptoms and possible effects of you know, having a uterus brings.
Right.
So you know, it's time for us to kind of stop sort of pussyfooting around the issue.
That's right.
And
hiding it.
Yes, and
Hiding
hiding
Yeah.
behind stigma and taboo. And actually, you know, you will benefit as an organisation, as you've found.
100%.
You
It's
know,
good
in
for
terms
business.
In ter-
You know,
it's good
it's
for business.
really good
in
for
terms
business.
of productivity.
Exactly.
And that means revenue.
Yeah.
And they've
absolutely.
proven it that,
Yeah.
you know, then when women are excelling and they know, they have that confidence that they are supported, they're in
Yeah.
that supportive environment, you'll see the best of them.
Thrive,
They will really
honestly.
thrive, and there will be more female leaders,
Yeah.
and we know that's a good thing.
Of course.
You know, we know that that's good for the economy, because it's been proven again by all the financial experts
Yeah.
that more female leadership will you know, grow the economy by so many trillions and so on.
Yeah.
So
And so think about it. We provide fruit, we provide milk, we provide tea bags, coffee, but we don't provide something that is really necessary,
Yeah.
really needed, and that is
essential.
essential to the well-being
Yeah.
of absolutely integral team members.
Yes.
It improves staff retention. It makes people in the workplace feel seen and acknowledged and cared for and included.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's time.
It is.
It's time.
It's time. And so we thought, you know, International Women's Day. Last year I did a whole kind of a ranting video about what needs to happen.
Okay.
And you know, I was going to be targeting sort of government organisations and councils and trying to get, you know, systems in local inner city areas going. But politicians are difficult to work with.
And actually, if you were to think of all the small businesses even, so every small business member that has female members in their team, imagine the power of all the small businesses. What a massive government organisation that would be if all the small businesses in the UK and overseas actually did a very small thing. So if we all, I subscribe, it maybe costs £20 a month. I mean, it really isn't very much, but it has an absolutely enormous impact. Depending on how big your organisation is, it's going to be different for you. It might even just be £5 a month for you. But if you subscribe, if you receive the products through subscription, set them up in your washrooms, and if we all did that, if 1,000 businesses did that, and that's our goal, if 1,000 businesses subscribed to sanitary products for their female team members through giftwellness.co.uk, we will have a massive impact not only in the UK or wherever you are listening to this for your team members, but also for women in crisis, who will, as a result, the Gift Wellness Foundation will be able to reach so many more women. Tell us a little bit about the Gift Wellness Foundation. So how did it start, Zareen?
So it's a real labour of love for me, as you know. It started with my daughter and a promise that I made to my daughter Halima. Halima was passionate about charity work, and from a young age, she, whenever there was a disaster or anything like that in the world, she would be baking cupcakes and selling them at school, and she subscribed to UNICEF and all that sort of thing. And when we talked, we would, while mothers and daughters were talking about the latest fashion, say, or music, we would be talking about these sorts of issues. We would be talking about environmental work and, how Anita Roddick set up Body Shop and, having a social enterprise. And she made me promise that after she graduated from university that I would drop whatever I was doing and we would work together to set up a social enterprise and a charity, and we would work together and we'd have fun doing it, and it was a solid plan. And in fact about 5 or 6 years before she went to university, she was about 13, I think. I went to Pakistan with my dad to visit my aunt in Karachi, and while I was there, my cousin there, he had a property, an empty property, and we decided to set up do a charity together. And I said, why don't we work in partnership and set up a charity for a school, like a school for street children and that sort of thing. And when I came back and told Halima, she was so excited, and she said, well, Mum, that's what I want to do when I graduate and when I grow up. So can my name be associated with it, with the project? And so we needed an account to do the fundraising. So we went down to the local bank and we opened an account called the Halima Trust.
Okay.
And because of red tape and sort of politics out there and paperwork and the fact that we were here and we would be there, that project didn't go ahead at that time. But we had that account, and then fast forward to 2007, November 2007, Halima started her dream course to do international relations and third world development, and she'd just been going to university for 6 weeks, and she was abducted and murdered by a mental health patient who was stalking her, and an asylum seeker, result of the Iraq war and so on. And so straight after it happened, I decided straight away that I was the CEO of a national organisation at that time called the BMF. It was set up after the 7/7 bombings, and I was halfway through my doctorate, and which was all about it's under multiculturalism, and it was all about the role of Muslim women in Britain in relation to the government's prevent agenda and the whole war on terror and all that stuff, and it was basically about women's rights within that political situation, you know, everything that was happening, and my job was, as the CEO of the BMF, was a direct result of the 7/7 bombings, and so it was very much a kind of a diplomatic role that was acting as a conduit between the Muslim community and the media and the government and other governments as well. So I was travelling quite a lot, and but my focus and my passion was about women's rights within that, because I saw that they were being used and exploited from everyone, their own community and the government and the media, and you know. Anyway, so Halima, you know, the promise that I'd made to Halima, that was just at the front of my mind, and after she passed away, I decided to set up the Halima Trust, and I remembered that account that we'd made sort of five years before, and the family and friends, we all got together and we established this charity, and we started fundraising for our first project, which was a school for orphaned and needy girls in Pakistan, and it was located near where my parents were from, and it took 3 years to build this school, and for about 440 girls, something like that, and they were either orphans or from very poor backgrounds. And in April 2011 we inaugurated the school, and it was on my way back from there. I was sitting in the airport lounge in Lahore and thinking, okay, you know, I've reached this milestone, what next? You know, what do I do now? Because for me it had been a kind of my sort of survival strategy, if you like, and it had given me something positive to focus on, and I thought, okay, what do I need to do now? You know, I'd reached this stage, what's next? So I knew I'd never work for anyone again, because I couldn't guarantee that I would want to get up early and, you know, be ready for the media or whatever every day, because I still have days when I just want to, you know, wallow, you know. So I was sitting there in the airport lounge, and I picked up this magazine to distract myself, and it opened at this article which was about women in refugee camps who were forced to tear strips off the bottom of their dresses and fold up into makeshift sanitary pads, menstrual pads. And I immediately, I don't know if I actually stood up, but in my head I stood up. And I was giving pads to these women, and I knew that's what was next. What I had to do, what was next, and that was really the birth of Gift Wellness. And I came back and started looking into these issues of, you know, more the charity side than the product side, first of all, and realise that it's not just women in refugee camps, it's women on our doorstep here who often can't access or afford these basic essentials, which I found really shocking. And then when I decided to, okay, well, I'm going to sell similar products, and for every pack I sell I'm going to donate pads or, you know, products to women who need them, I then looked into what products I would sell, and found how toxic they were, and that 99% of these products were full of proper nasties, nasty chemicals, and even sort of weed killer, you know, that Roundup weed killer, and that chemical, because they're made with such cheap, inferior material that if they don't spray them with things like that, then they'll rot on the shelves. You know, they'll go mouldy, or they won't last very long, or you know, sprout legs and run off. and you know, so they have to, but you know, at whose expense? And I realised why I felt so crap every month,
right?
You know?
Yeah,
because
you got wound up.
Yeah. Putting weed killer in my pants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just felt that, you know, I'd never been in business before. Like I'd never never mind manufacturing. I'd never done a sales job before. I'd always been in the public sector or the charity sector or kind of academia, and I'd never kind of done this sort of thing before, but I that didn't even occur to me, because I could see what needed to be done at the end. I could visualize that end goal of me, look, whatever is going to lead me to that point where I'm giving pads to these women, and everything else was just logistics. It's you know, it's a to-do list of things that need to be learned and things that need to be done, and you know, or finding someone that can do something that I can't do, and yeah, so I decided to develop my own brand of healthy products, and it's not a medical device. I think it has to be registered as a medical device in the US. But in the UK, it doesn't need to be registered as a medical device. So I'm currently going through the process for the US to be registered with the FDA. But in the UK, it's not. But then that means you're restricted as to what you can say. You know, you can't make medical claims. So there's a disclaimer on the pack. You know, and
about tourmaline.
About that we won't cure things. Of course. You know, but it's used in so many other products as well, and it is scientifically proven that, you know, that it does help. So
how was it through the pandemic? So I'm mindful that here you are setting up this business as a new entrepreneur, going through all the challenges, actually designing the product yourself, you know, finding manufacturers.
So within 6 months, I mean, my initial model was to sell through retailers, which was working. Working in the sense that I was getting orders. I had a chain, Holland and Barrett, on board. It was in every high street. I had hundreds of independents, you know, the health food shops and that sort of thing.
That's how I was familiar with the products before I met you. I'd seen them in health food stores.
There you go. So. And also had some distributors in Europe as well. So I didn't need to be at the front, so to speak. The products were out there, and that was great for, you know, they were marketing themselves really. The downside of that way of doing it was that the margins were so big, especially with the chain. It was 65%.
They were taking. Wow.
And then on top of that, I had to pay for delivery. And on top of that, it was a retrospective amounts that would be coming off my invoice for their penny sale, their buy one get one, which was compulsory. So you couldn't opt out of that. So every quarter there would be another chunk coming off. So it didn't leave very much it didn't leave anything to expand the business, and it didn't leave enough for the charity either. So the charity side of it, I was just doing anyway. I was just giving product off my bottom line from my warehouse and just giving it away, which obviously meant that I was making a loss every year.
Of course.
So, but I was just determined to carry on, and then for me, what happened during COVID was actually a blessing, in the sense that I lost all of my retailers basically.
Because they were all closed.
Because they were all closed.
Yeah.
And we didn't know at that point when they would reopen. And Holland and Barrett actually stayed open, but they instead of ordering the minimum order amount that they normally ordered, they were ordering tiny amounts, like every other day.
Right. Okay.
And I had to pay delivery, so the delivery was more than what they so it was just it just wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And I heard similar stories from other small suppliers as well. But you know, everything happens for a reason.
And here we are. So I had to very quickly pivot the business to an online retail B2C business, and now and literally start from scratch. Yeah. And you know, now we're up to a few hundred subscribers, and we need to get more subscribers in order for us to continue this work. But you know, the customers were out there. It's the customers who were buying from the shops who were out there looking for us when the shops were closed, and it's because they're not just customers, they're like die-hard fans of what we do, and it's all about, you know, it's all about the charity part of it that, you know, that motivates and
them,
and stayed with you,
and they've found us, and they said, don't worry, we're with you, we're not going to let you go, you know. And I think there's something to be learnt in that as well, is that businesses that have a cause attached to them, that businesses that are doing good, they are the ones that will survive anything. Yeah. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's proven it to me.
You're driven, right? You're driven to survive.
And because the customers are invested in you more than just giving their pound and getting product.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so so it's because of the customers that we're still, you know, going. We're still here, and the good energy that comes back to us because of all the people that we're helping. Yeah.
So we would love it if you would help us and join this initiative, and not only help us, but help your female team members and help the women in crisis that Zareen is actively sending sanitary products to, simply by going to giftwellness.co.uk, set up a subscription for your female team members. If you're not sure, if this is a male watching, and you're not sure how many, you know, what volume of product you need, contact Zareen
through the website. Just contact us and tell us what your capacity is. Yeah. You know, how many women, we'll work out how much you need every month based on the average cycle and so on, and we'll recommend what you need. Yeah.
And our goal would be for 1,000 businesses to join us in this and really make a change for Gift Wellness, for your business, and for women in crisis in the UK and all over the world. Zareen is setting up a landing page that will be specific to this initiative, and
you'll find that on the website.
Yeah, so and you'll find that on the website.
You'll see it on the homepage straight away.
Okay. But anyway, even if that's just so that we know the impact that this film and our social media activity is having to help with Zareen's amazing, I guess it's a legacy, Zareen. I mean, it's more than just an initiative or a project or...
Oh no, it's a game changer. It is. It's much more than that now. For me, it was first, like I said, it was like my survival strategy to do something. Yeah. But it's so much more than that now. It's about creating that kind of ecosystem around what's needed in the world to really create true parity. Yeah. You know, based on individuals' needs. Yeah. And you know, not just women's needs, everybody's needs. And so, you know, we're developing, we have the period gift box, which is for parents to buy for their daughters, so that they have a more confident start and can more easily navigate through those essential years in school when they first start their periods, because so many girls start their periods without even knowing what's happening, you know, they and it's so scary for them. And then we're developing an amazing training consultancy using VR technology where you actually step into the shoes of women in the workplace and men, and experience what they're going through, and you know, we cover menstruation and menopause and pregnancy and race issues and mental health issues, and it's immersive and interactive, and the idea is that it'll be a game changer for your workplace, you know, but it's this is all part of it, so it's all happened, all these ideas have come very organically. We're also about to launch the app, which is called Period Angels, and that will help to create a more nurturing environment within communities, so that communities are supporting those who need these products in their locality, through the app, because it'll all be who are the organisations that have them, the food banks, the charities will be listed on the app, and then volunteers who are collecting products, they can link with the organisations who need them, and then users who need the products for free can go onto the app and see on the map where they can pick them up.
And what's the app going to be called? Does it have a
Period Angels.
Period Angels.
Yes, it's just gone live on iOS and Android.
Awesome.
It's still early days. We're now, first phase is to populate it with organisations and volunteers, and that will take sort of 2 or 3 months, I guess, to get it started, and then, but please, you know, people can register on there and you know, play their part.
So if you're watching and any of the ideas that Zareen has shared with you have resonated with you, please get in touch, reach out via the Gift Wellness website, and I'm sure Zareen and her team will direct you to the right place. And please sign up, subscribe to the products for your team members, and let's create amazing female-friendly workplaces that's really fit for contemporary society. So don't hold back. Don't be afraid. Just go to the website, sign up. If you're unsure what to order, contact Zareen's organisation, or place an order, subscribe, have the products delivered, and stand out from your competitors, stand out as employers. Keep your staff members, your precious talent that you have in your organisation, let them know that you see them, that you care about them, that you recognise what's happening with their bodies, and subscribe at giftwellness.co.uk. I'm
so grateful to Remote and Jeannie and the whole team for supporting us on this, and I love collaborating. I love it when two different disciplines come together and cross-fertilise, and you know, so many amazing things happen when you do that.
That's right. Yeah.
So, you know, I just want to say thank you.
Pleasure. No,
as well.
Really.
Bless you.
No, honestly, it's important work. It's important work, and this is good. This isn't just for International Women's Day.
No,
this is for every day. Let's create a new. You know, let's be open and have conversations. Let's create a new world together, and let's spread it in our communities, in our workplaces, our communities, and also to women in crisis in the UK and overseas. And okay. Thank you. Thank you.